In this video, I will be showing you a PowerPoint which includes research of TV and film industries. I will mainly focus on different types of ownership and financial methods. Let's start off with public broadcasting services. Public broadcasting service is a type of broadcasting method which is intended for the public instead of commercially. This type of television and radio ownership is mainly funded by the government, so it has legal rights to operate nationally. This is why, in order to operate successfully, you're required to fill specific requirements within their license to broadcast. An example of a media organization which offers broadcasting services would be BBC. Created in London in 1922, they have always remained focused on three things. This includes informing the public, entertaining, and educating the audience in their channel. The beneficial aspect of this would be how much money is created from the viewers, which means as long as they have their viewers, there will always be money for the company to fall back on. Some negative aspects of this would be the continuous requirements on pleasing the public. This is a very difficult task as every audience member has different requirements, so in order to be successful, you would need to do a lot of research within the audiences. If it does become successful, there are bigger public benefits rather than individual commercial interests, as you would get an overall higher profit. Commercial broadcasting is when a television show is broadcasted by private companies as opposed to having state sponsorship. This is completely different to BBC. This is because they exist to create money and jobs, which is mainly earned through advertisements in between shows. An example of this would be ITV. ITV was Britain's first commercial television. Presently, the total number of television stations owned by a company would reach 39% of the country, as the ownership limit was lower than before. Corporate ownership was first created by the Congress of Public Broadcasting. As a result, it's a non-profit ownership method as it does not produce programs that is requested by the audience, but rather anything that they want to post. On the other hand, private broadcasting is another type of commercial broadcasting as the finance is broad through their individual popularity and their advertisements. The difference is that there is more freedom, which means they, just like corporate ownership, have the ability to screen anything depending on what they desire. A great example of this would be Sky News. This is because this organization is traded and owned privately within the stock market. Working independently certainly has its benefits, especially towards elements such as the impact an industry would have towards the amount of control they have. But you have to remember that you have far fewer resources to work with. These type of studios also have its benefits to larger amounts of actors, crew, and overall infrastructure, so you have time to focus on whoever you desire. However, you will have to negotiate a lot more, especially when it comes to compromising. The main compromise, however, is rooted to mainly trying to appeal towards a larger audience. The first global broadcasting station network was known as the American Broadcasting Station, which was located in San Francisco and Rhode Island. Due to how time-consuming this complicated broadcasting method was, along with its high cost, it only survived 4 years from 2007 to 2011. In coming years, this changed especially due to the increase and improvements within technology such as broadcasting towers and internet sites, making it easier to access for global users. Let's move on to cross-media convergence. This type of convergence occurs when a minimum of 2 or more companies work together to either produce, distribute, or exhibit a film or television show. Usually, this involves a combination between music industries and film industries, mainly due to the soundtracks making the film more interesting. The difference between synergy and cross-media convergence would be how synergy involves non-media products. An example of this would be merchandise, while on the other hand, cross-media convergence involves media products. There are 2 types of media convergences. Old and new media. This includes particular magazines, old media, which have produced a website, a new form of media. Television is an old media, while interactive channels are new. And lastly, films are old medias, while downloadable content is classified as new. Vertical integration is when distribution and ownership comes from the same company. This automatically assists with reducing costs and improving the efficiency, especially through transportation expenses and turnabout time. An example of this would be Warner Bros.' use of it in HP7. HP7 was created by Warner Bros. Pictures in association with Heyday Films and then distributed by Warner Bros. Distribution. Horizontal integration is when a company produces a supply chain of the same production over time. An example of this would be Warner Bros. Studio and Pictures, DC Comics, and New Line Cinemas, as they own DC Comics, later releasing films which contain DC superheroes such as Batman. The advantage of this would be monopoly. This is because monopoly has the power to take over the market, not having to worry about competitors, since they have complete control over that industry. Vox Cinema is a great example of monopolization, as they have established multiple companies through the Middle East in places such as Muscat, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Lebanon, and Egypt, as a few to mention. Up next, I'll be talking about financial matters. Let's firstly cover what license fee is. License fee is the type of fee structure used when homeowners have to pay in order to either view or listen to any type of BBC broadcasting. If you don't pay for these services, you can be fined for accessing this type of content, as you are not contributing towards license fees which were set by the government. The current cost for colour is £150.50, while non-colour is £50.50. Subscription companies generally charge a small amount of fee, most commonly monthly, in order for users to access and use their product. An example of two popular well-branded subscription companies would be Netflix, used to access films, while on the other hand Spotify, known for its music. The subscription makes these sites unique, as there are specific features which you cannot access on other sites, as it's exclusively for these companies. Pay-per-view is when you pay to see a TV show or film once. It's better known as a one-off payment. This is mainly used during a distribution of sport matches such as football, basketball, or boxing. They offer it cheap, purposely in order to gain a bigger audience, increasing its profit. When it comes to services, companies such as BT and Sky are also places which offer pay-per-view. Sponsorship is when a company pays to showcase a product within a short advertisement, which is either located between TV shows or films, tailored perfectly next to the show being shown at the specific time of day. An example of this would be Coronation Street. This is a family show which is shown weekdays at a prime time in the evening. This results in the adverts aiming towards a rather family-orientated show, since it's time when families are together. Advertising is a key method in how broadcasting companies generate their income. This is because they get money by simply including the company's advertisement on their channel. The first British advertisement showcased on television was created at 9:01 p.m. on the 22nd of September 1955. This was created by A.B. Path to showcase Gibbs SR toothpaste. It lasted 70 seconds and it was an epic-changing game for the company as it increased their profit. More recently, advertisements are much shorter, generally 30 seconds, as a longer advertisement tends to be boring, with the audience members losing interest halfway through. The cost to place an advertisement varies, all depending on the amount of view the show gets. The higher the views, the more it costs. Product placements are used when companies want to advertise within a specific product. In order to be legally allowed to place a product placement, you will need to place a P to showcase you've paid. The first product placement created happened in 2011 by Nescafe, who paid £100,000 to place a coffee machine in the background of a shot. Another example would be the black glasses placed within the movie Men in Black. You think this is coincidental? No. These brands are using this type of product placement in order to promote their product, depending on the popularity of the film, as it increases the profit of their brand. Private capital is money invested in films which wouldn't have been published as it lacked financial fundings in order to operate. An example of a producer who helps funding these type of films would be the American film producer Megan Ellison, who founded Aparna Pictures. She used people's ideas and turned them into reality. Movies such as American Hustle, which gave the filmmaker an opportunity to get their big break. American Hustle grossed $251.2 million worldwide, winning 3 BAFTAs and 2 Golden Globe Awards. Development funds and financial aids are funds which give small independent filmmakers a chance to create their idea. In the UK alone, there are currently 12 distributors, one of them being the British film industry. This means people can submit their ideas. This includes areas of production, distribution, education, audience development, and market research to the British film industry, and from there, they decide who to give the money on from their national lottery funds. And we have come to the end of this presentation. Thank you for watching.